next up on the workbench, this project's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to be doing it in phases, though, to try to keep my mojo going. Having finished the blasters, it is time to start on arguably the most difficult part of any Mandalorian build, namely the helmet. Or in this case, two helmets. For my son, he's decided he wants to go more with the look of the heavy infantry Mandalorian helmet from The Mandalorian. I'm going to be using OdinMakes templates. And then for myself, we're going to go with one based more off, well, the title character from The Mandalorian, using Dustin's DIY props templates that were modified from the Punished Props templates. To that end, I have some 10mm HD foam, some 6mm HD foam, and somewhere around here I have some 2mm craft foam too. But these aren't going to be quick. These aren't going to be easy. But that's also why I'm doing the helmets first. All right. Somewhere between 2.5 to 3.5 hours later, and lots of paper shreds, and some more still yet to go, we have foam laid out, or pattern laid out on foam. The pieces on this one are the 10mm pieces for my son's helmet. This is the one based off of Odin's heavy infantry helmet. The 10mm pieces here are for my helmet, based on the DIY/Punished Props pattern. And then here are the 6mm pieces for both helmets, labeled as to which ones are which. All in all, not looking forward to the next session, which is going to involve cutting out lots and lots of foam. Now, this may not look like much. I've got it boxed up so I don't confuse it with the parts for my own helmet, but that's the 10mm pieces and parts for my son's Mandalorian heavy infantry helmet. At this point, they've just been raw cut. No shaping's been done or anything. But that's where we're sitting. Alright, again, it may not look like much, but there are the 10mm pieces for my helmet. So far, we've got about, an hour and 10 in cutting foam, and I've still got the 6mm stuff to do. And I haven't even laid out the 2mm stuff yet. Slowly but slowly. Okay, more pieces added to the pile. In this case, we have the 6mm foam pieces cut for both my son's helmet and for mine. I will say this already, as far as piece count goes, Odin's heavy infantry helmet, wins on basis of piece count, as in it doesn't have as many for the basic construction. But now I need to do the 2mm parts. Alright, this may not look like much, but that is the progress we've gotten so far today. We have the dome for my son's helmet glued together. I'm not going to lie, those are some ugly looking seams, but I have the ability to fill them. We're making progress. Alright, at this point it is definitely starting to look like a helmet. I have the faceplate and back plates on. Back detail doesn't quite look like Odin envisioned it, but I blame the craftsman, not the man making the pattern. There are going to be some nasty seams that need working, but I'm going to worry about them after I get the cheeks in place. But all in all, I think we have a pretty decent day's work. I apologize also for the shaky cam. Okay, as you can see, it's definitely starting to look like a Mandalorian helmet now. At this point, I've still got to put in the cheek panels. And as Odin warned, they're not going to completely line up. So I'm going to get to have some fun getting them to line up on either side. But slowly but slowly, this thing is taking shape. Alright, as you can see, I've got the cheek pieces in place now, as well as the lower piece that helps set this apart as the heavy infantry helmet. The visor will actually wind up closer to that kind of configuration, but it's open now because what's going to hold that front together is the visor. But at this point, this helmet needs earpieces and sanding, and we're getting there. Alright, what we've got here are the completed ear boxes. I haven't done all the detailing on this piece yet, but I mostly want to get them in play first and then worry about it. I've gone ahead and lined in on the helmet where they need to go, so I can avoid using any more cement than I have to. But, as I've said before, these are moving right along. Okay, as you can see, I've got the earpieces in place now. They're somewhat bulky, but this is supposed to be the heavy infantry version. I'm not going to lie, I have some huge seams to fill. But, all in all, I'm very happy with how this looks so far, and more importantly, my son is happy with how this looks so far. And now we shift gears toward my helmet. This is the 10 millimeter, these are the 10 millimeter pieces. All basic heat shaped at this point and laid out where they're going to go basically in relation to everything else on the assembly. They've been heat formed. I got work to do. Alright, this may not look like much, but this is the completed dome from my own Mandalorian helmet. Contact cement seams. Well, we know seam work when working with EVA foam is a given, but progress is being made. Okay, as you can see, I now have the bottom plate attached. Really glad I looked at the Punished Props original version of this helmet as far as videos go, because it helped me get things lined up. All in all, I'm very happy with today's work. Alright, what we've got here are the face and cheek pieces. As you can see, with some of the bevels, I've gone in with my Dremel and beveled the pieces as necessary. or at least as the instructions say. So we got some on the bottom, some on the top. And at this point, we're ready to start putting the face pieces together. All right, at this point, as you can see, the cheek plates have been assembled. They actually went together fairly well, which, after the fun I had with my son's helmet, was a pleasant surprise. Now all I got to do is mount them into the main helmet. All right, as you can see, one change I made to the top of the dome here before installing the cheeks was cutting a ledge to help mount the eventual visor plate, because the cheek plates are in the thinner foam, whereas the top's in the thicker. By cutting that channel, that'll give me something more closely resembling a flush fit. Now, the cheek plates, as you can see, are in place, giving the distinct Mandalorian look to this helmet. They still flop out a bit, but that's to be expected since the visor is actually what's going to hold them in place. Slowly but surely, this is starting to take shape. Okay, at this point, major construction on the helmet is done. I've left these pieces in place. They'll get removed to accommodate the visor later. But for right now, they're in place to help the helmet hold shape. Taking Dustin's advice, I went for 2 layers on the earpiece. Like he did, I cut the lines with a knife and then heated them up with the heat gun to help open them up. The channel in the middle of the earpiece there is hand cut with my Dremel. I'm thinking of filling this void on both sides with a little something just to break it up. Then we have the vent detail. That was glued on with E6000. I glued the frame down and then I glued the individual pieces into place. And of course, the strip down the middle. Dustin did this as one piece. I decided it'd be easier and look better to my eyes at least to do it as 2 layers. But at this point, this thing is about ready for some heavy-duty seam fill.